Hi, I'm Robin.
And I'm Bill.
Welcome to Not the Retirement Show. Today we're talking about 5 tips for making downsizing easy in retirement. I think the first thing to say here is downsizing is a really big life change. So the number one thing I would say to people is pace yourself. Do not rush into anything. Brief story for you. I did a lot of face-to-face workshops with Bill before we became a virtual YouTube channel. And somebody came up to me at the end of one of the workshops and said that she wanted to move to Panama forever in 2 months. And I'm like, Panama, wow, that's interesting. Have you thought about the fact that it's foreign food, foreign country, foreign language, foreign housing? How much do you know about Panama? Oh, nothing. I just think I would like to live there. Well, I'll let you draw your own conclusions. I sent her home with a whole to-do list of things to research. But my point here is that if you are considering moving just to another neighborhood in your own city, let alone to a foreign country, you have an awful lot of things to consider. What is their banking system? How will you get health care? Where will you do their grocery shopping? How much does housing cost? I mean, the list is endless.
Well, I mean, the big thing here is think about it. I mean, that's it. You've got to think about it. And I don't mean, over the weekend, say, I was watching a YouTube channel the other night there and I saw this, thing about Panama or someplace else. And hey, it looked really cool. Hey, listen, we've been talking about downsizing. Why don't we go there? I mean, don't do that. Think about it. You got to slow down. You got to think about it. Don't make any stupid decisions, and certainly don't make them quickly. It's going to take time. Now, is it going to take years? No, it's not going to take years, but you're going to have to experiment. You're going to have to look up information about where you want to move to. If you're lucky, you've got one place in mind. I don't think people do it that way. I think people say, I could go here, I could go there, I could go here, I could move out, from one state to another state, one country to another country, one city to another city. I think there's so many, options, because you can't simply look at a YouTube video and say, oh, the country looks nice, let's go and live in the country. I mean, you don't want to do that. So you've got to be very thoughtful and gather all the bits and pieces, all the information. In previous videos, we've talked about the financial issues, the equity release and so forth, etc. I mean, that's key. I mean, that's a critical part. You can't move to a different place and then discover that your income doesn't cover your expenses. I mean, that's not a smart move, because then what you're going to do, move back? I don't think so.
So what we're saying here is do your research. And I don't think you could do too much research. Research every single aspect of what daily life would be like and what would be involved. Once you make a decision, okay, right, we're going to do this. My next piece of advice is hire some professionals to help you. Hire a professional realtor. Don't think you're going to sell your home yourself unless you're not planning to go anywhere for quite some time. Hire a professional to do your yard sale for you. Do you know that there are professional organizers and they get paid their fee out of the proceeds of the sale? So you don't even have to actually have cash up front in a lot of cases. Hire professional movers, hire professional handymen to help you do the home repairs or paint the house or whatever needs doing to get ready for the sale.
Yeah, and the thing is, as we've said before, test. You've got to test it. If you've decided, I mean, maybe you've decided that, there are 3 or 4 places that, make them under consideration. That's fine. That's okay. Well, you've got time on your side. So, take a long weekend or a week or a couple of weeks or a month, perhaps, in each place over the next several months. Go and test it. But don't sort of just go and, as it were, live in a hotel in the new place. That's not really going to help you.
No, that's living like a tourist. You need to actually live like a local.
Yeah. No, I mean, if you rent a place, Airbnb places or stuff like that, I think that gives you a little bit closer feeling with the community. I don't think that's a bad idea. I mean, we're not advocating Airbnb. You know, we're just simply saying that if you can go and live in a house,
In the neighborhood you're considering,
well, ideally,
or, you know, a flat, an apartment,
Mhm.
whatever.
Yeah, you know, I mean, going to live in a big fancy hotel is probably not the best choice, you know, from a downsizing perspective. But, you know, the testing is the key word in this. You've got to go and have a look. You've got to get, and you know what? You maybe want to go back again. In other words, you're going to go there, you're going to look around, you're going to take notes, you're going to go back home, you're going to think about it, you're going to say, yeah, you know, I don't think we looked at this particular issue close enough. You know, let's go on the internet and let's see if we can get more information, or we'll call back to somebody. Or lo and behold, let's go back again in a month's time. Any number of things can help you make it easier. And I think if you can do that, then the ultimate decision, which, you know, in the case of the subject matter here, which is to downsize, that decision is going to be made an awful lot easier, because you're going to feel a lot more comfortable about making that, you know, change.
I completely agree. And when it comes to how long should you stay, I would say the bare minimum is a month for your first visit, because you have got to make sure that you have been there long enough that it no longer feels like a vacation. It feels like you have started a daily routine, that you have worked out how you would spend your time, you know, what interests you would pursue, where you would go for all the daily services and needs that you're going to encounter when you make a move like this. My very last piece of advice, this might seem a little bit silly, but it's very, very simple. If you want this move to be easy, let all the junk go. Let all that stuff that's filling up your apartment, filling up your house, filling up your life, let it go. Do not sit there and agonize over what to keep and what to donate and what to sell. Get a fresh start. There will be plenty of places to shop at the other end. And if you have sold and donated all the things from your old life, you'll have some funds in order to furnish the new place, whatever it is that you've decided on.
Yeah, you know, we've been talking about downsizing. So, you know, if you've got some comments, tell us about your particular situation, and you know, give us some ideas and share some thoughts. I would make one last point, if I could, regarding, you know, we're talking about making downsizing easy, making the decisions easy. But here's something to think about. Here's something to think about. Okay, you know, you and your partner have decided, or maybe just you alone, whatever. You've decided, I'm going to downsize. You go and you do all the research, you do the testing, you do all this, that, and the next thing. You check your financials and you say, yeah, this is good, this is good. And then something happens. And it could just simply be a change of mind. People change their mind. You're allowed to change your mind. And if that happens, don't beat yourself up by saying, oh my goodness me, we went through all of that time and effort, etc., 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 and whatever. We're just not going to move. We've just decided, we've changed our mind. Maybe it's a family situation, it doesn't matter, it could be a health situation, whatever it may be. But don't beat yourself up. You're not committed to downsizing. You're committed to live a lifestyle that you want, and if it means, you know what, I've changed my mind, good for you. Change your mind and get on with the rest of your life.
Equally so, if you were dead set against this downsizing idea and suddenly you've warmed up to it and it seems reasonable and like a really good idea, don't be afraid to change your mind, as Bill says. Well, if you're still listening, we must have said something interesting or helpful, so please subscribe to our channel and we'll chat with you again soon. Take care, everyone.